Let's go. Let's go! Another win for the Habs over the Bruins, 4-1. Let's go. Doesn't it feel great? I think they mentioned it was the first time the Habs win in regulation against the Bruins since 2019. And even though it's an amazing feeling, I know it's not the same as winning against the Bruins when they were good. So that kind of feels a little bad, but doesn't matter. 2 points. Columbus lost. Thank you, Avalanche. And we build a little bit of a gap, just the slightest of gaps, with Columbus at least. I am more scared of the Rangers than I am of Columbus, to be honest, because Columbus has a really tough schedule. Like, they play the Leafs twice, the Capitals twice, something like that, or the Senators twice, the Leafs once. Anyways, they have a pretty tough schedule. The Rangers, not so much. So I'm a little bit more scared about them. But anyhow, I digress. We needed that win, and it was a massive trap game. We knew coming in that there was a big chance that the boys were going to play like they played against Philadelphia, against not great teams, and lose on the 2 points like we did back then. But no, they struggled on the first period. I'm not going to lie. The first period was a little iffy. I didn't like too much of what I saw. Felt like we were playing at their pace and not imposing our pace on them and making them struggle. But we did do that in the second and the third, and we dominated those 2 periods. So I think over those 2 periods, the Bruins only got like 11 shots to our 20-something. So I know that's not the best metric overall, but it's a somewhat of a good metric to see which team dominated. So let's go. Massive game. And it feels great that we're able to put this one in the bag when we needed to, and like not struggle, not make it a difficult one. When we were in the lead, we just one mistake, Matheson with a bad check over Geeky, I think it was. It just gives him too much space. But overall, like, we didn't allow the other team to come back like we've allowed in the past. I think against Buffalo, we were winning by 3, and then we allowed them to come all the way back. So yeah, we didn't give them a chance, and you like to see that, especially at this time of the year, especially given the situation of the playoffs and whatnot. So big win, massive win. So going through the game, like I said, not a good first period. I didn't like the pace. I didn't like we looked slow. We looked like we were a step behind. I didn't like Slavkovsky. He looked like he was looking at the in the second game against the Panthers, where he was just always a step behind, and I was scared that he had regressed. But he did come out big in the second and third. I think he reduced the amount of mistakes he made. Because he was he started with a giveaway on the first period or something like that. Like, he did that thing where he throws it into the middle of the ice or cross ice, but misses, and like he just goes to the other team. So not great first period by not a lot of Habs, especially Slavkovsky's, who I saw. And then after Dvorak scores, I was like, okay, our third line, which, by the way, holy moly, our third line. They have been massive for us. They have been the vet presence that have been showing the pace to the skids. They score 40 seconds in. Yeah, and then they set the tone for the rest of the game. So it's what you want. That's what you want from your third or from your veteran line. It doesn't matter which number line they are, but that's what you want from your veterans. And Dvorak, Gali, and Anderson deliver. So, and they've been delivering a lot lately. Like, they've been consistently good this last stretch of games, and you love to see it. Like I mentioned on the last video I made, it does give you the idea, or it does tempt you to maybe Hughes can resign Dvorak for like a 2 times 2 deal, like 2 years at $2 million or something like that. It would be nice, but we'll see. Anyways, not something we need to worry about now. So our third line shows up, and they deliver, right? But our first line, second and fourth line in the first period, where they always looked like a step behind, Like Newhook was not looking fast. He did during the second and third. Heineman looked okay, honestly, all game. Like he's fairly consistent. I like that about him. But yeah, not great first, and I think we were lucky, or Montembeault had to be sharp during the first, because there were a few chances that we gave to the Boston Bruins to get ahead, and like we don't want that. So Montembeault wasn't tested a lot during the second and the third, but he was sharp and important during the first, and yeah, he kept us in there. That's what you want. I say that every time, and he provided when then their forwards delivered. So we get a power play late stages of the first period. I forget what the power play was called for, actually, but the power play itself was horrible. Like the first minute and a half of it, because we only had 1 minute and a half during the first, and then we had 30 seconds of the for the start of the second period. It was bad. Like we were not able to keep the puck in there. So yeah, not a good power play. And I think that was the only power play we had. Yeah. So I'm a little concerned about the state of the power play, especially like against they didn't say how they're ranking, but I'm sure the special teams in the Bruins are not great. Their power play was bad too, like really bad. They like, yes, the Habs penalty kill has been good, not so much lately, but overall in the season I think we're 12th now or something like that. I think we peaked at 7th or 6th best in the league. I think we're 12th, 11th now, somewhere in that range. So we're not a bad penalty kill. We're actually some of the good penalty kills, but their power play, that was embarrassing to see. I mean, our power play was almost as embarrassing, honestly, but I know our power play has been good at points. I apparently theirs hasn't, so like, I know we hate the Bruins. I know we don't like them at all, but still kind of sad looking how bad they were, because they were bad. They, like, in the second and third, they were not generating anything. The only things they generated during the first was because of our mistakes, not because they were doing anything good in particular. Like, oof. Makes me wonder if we can target some of their remaining good players that want to play in a competitive team, you know, and not not participate in a rebuild. Like, I wonder what Pasternak, Swayman, Lindholm, the center, their first line center. I wonder if we could like target some of those players that don't necessarily want to participate in a rebuild. So just a thought. I know like a trade between the Bruins and the Habs is... Has there ever been a trade between the Bruins and the Habs? Like direct trades? I don't know. I know some players that played for the Bruins that played for the Habs and vice versa. Actually, I'm not even sure about that, but I'm sure it has happened, right? Anyways. I'm going on a branch there. Anyways, yeah, and then so our power play is not good. We have the next 30 seconds, the first 30 seconds of the second period on it, and it's not good again. Like I was screaming at my TV, just like, what was that? Because I was nervous. Like I said, we came into this game thinking it was a trap game that we were maybe going to lose because we lose against bad teams and we don't capitalize and take those points. And these 2 points are massive. Independent of the game or who we're playing against, these 2 points are massive. So knowing the Bruins are in a losing streak and they're a bad team and we play bad against bad teams and they're the freaking Bruins, of course I thought it was gonna be a very difficult game coming into the Bell Center, right? And the first period kind of proved me right. Kind of proved me like, hey, you know, this is kind of a trap game. Like we're gonna make a lot of mistakes and they're gonna score on us, and like we're gonna have to come back and blah blah blah. So I was scared and I was frustrated that our power play opportunity didn't do anything in the first and in the 30 seconds of the second. But then our third line just goes out there and like in 10 seconds they just like boom, score. Made it look easy. I know I was like carry it to Gallagher and like a couple rebounds and whatnot, and then Dvorak is just in the right place at the right time and just buries it on his top shelf. That was a great shot. So a little bit, it made me feel just a little bit better. Like there was a little bit of leeway for us to to keep on playing like we were playing, because I still had the thought of the first period. But then we kind of started dominating them, and they looked bad. We made them look bad, and I know they have looked bad against a lot of teams, but we continued on that, and we took our opportunities. And then Suzuki with a massive move. I know it's not a toe drag, it's like a heel drag or whatever, with a pass to Caulfield, which he needed that one. Caulfield needed that one, and I think he's still a little bit snake bitten. But did you see he had, right before the goal, he had a chance where he goes up the ice and he has Matheson on his left. It's a 2-on-1, and then he doesn't want to give it to Matheson, or he realizes the lane to Matheson is closed. He doesn't get the shot off because he doesn't think he has a good shot opportunity, so he looks back to see if Suzuki is coming, and he's open, but he loses control of the puck. How many times have we seen Caulfield do that? Not a lot. Like, I can count them with one hand, or like that was the first one I ever seen. Like, he usually either tries to rip it because he's a sniper and he like finds a spot or makes it difficult for the goalie at least, or threats the nil on a pass, but he just lost control of the puck. You don't see Caulfield do that often, so I'm still a little worried about his performance. So he needed that goal, right? So he gets his 35th. There you go. Continues on racking up those goals, and he's getting closer to 40. It would be really great if he can go on a hot streak here and get 5 more in the last 7 games. I know it's a lot, but hey, it can still happen, you know. Like, if he gets a hat trick against, you say, like, Chicago, in the end he just needs 2 goals in another 6 games, right? One can dream, but he's so close to 40. He's so close. I really want him to reach 40. But he needs to play better, because he's, like I said, he's been snake bitten. So I'm sure that goal made him feel better, made him feel like he can do this, right? And what a pass by Suzuki. He sets him up perfectly, and Caulfield in the right spot, you know, just knowing the pass was going to come to him. So what a goal that was. Another player that I just getting frustrated watching often is Armia, and I know he had a decent effort at the end to provide the puck to Evans, and Evans sets up Suzuki for the 4th goal. So I don't mind the effort by Armia, but since his wrist injury, and even a little bit before that, it seems like his stick doesn't fit him anymore. Like, anytime he has the puck, he like overskates it, loses control of it. Like, he looks uncomfortable out there. And like, why are we playing this guy? I'm sure like we can find someone else that, now that I say that out loud, he plays an important role in the PK, and maybe that's why they're keeping him in, because they don't have anyone else that could fit that role or be, you know, comfortable in that role. Still, I don't like what I see of him 5v5. Obviously, he still follows the PK greatly, and like he's not able to thread the short-handed goals like they used to in January, you know. But even though we did get our few chances yesterday, he looks really uncomfortable every time he has the puck on his stick. He's good at blocking shots, he's good at closing up lanes and following the puck and whatnot. Like, he still provides that on the PK, but at 5v5, I don't like what I see of him. Peseta honestly didn't play a bad game. I did get frustrated when he just iced the puck randomly. Like, he had a couple players, he could have skated to the red line and then dumped it in, but he tried a bank shot up the... Like, he tried a very difficult pass. Like, why... I'm sure he's been screamed at over and over to keep it simple. And then he tries this very difficult shot. I don't know if he saw Lane Hudson doing them all constantly, and he was like, "Oh, that looks easy. I'm gonna do it myself." He just ices the puck. Like, the Bruins put their first line against our 4th line with I think it was Struble and Savard. So like, fairly bad defensively, and guess what? The Bruins get a shooting chance, a scoring chance out of that. So it didn't get to anything in the end, and Monty made an easy save, I think it was. But like, Peseta is given very few chances and has a very short leash, and then he does that. I was a little bit frustrated, but other than that, honestly, he looked okay. You know what you're getting with him. Like he skates hard. He hits hard. He tries to do one too many things, I think, or I don't know if he's trying to prove himself for other teams because he's probably not seeing the ice in Montreal next season. So I don't know what the future holds for him. I'm sure he wants to play the best he can play right now, so maybe stay in the big league, but I don't know. Anyways, then we had the defensive pairings, which I wanted to mention because Savard has been seeing very little ice time. Actually, let me pull it up right now, because Savard looks tired, looks looks slow. So he has been seeing very little ice time, and like Martin has been throwing the defensive pairings on a blender, honestly. Let me see here. This is Boston and Montreal. So total time on ice, Savard had 10 minutes of ice time. Becerra had 7 minutes of ice time. So Savard with 10 minutes of ice time, and then all the other defensemen, we have Struble at 16, Carrier at 23, Matheson at 24. Where's the rest? Where's Hudson? I can't find Hudson. Hudson at 23. There you go. And then Gooley, but Gooley was had a 5-minute fighting penalty, so lost a little bit of ice time there at 20 minutes. So Savard at 10:40, so almost 11 minutes. So he's obviously seeing a lot less ice time, and his defensive pairing is Struble, but Struble sees 16 minutes and 20 seconds of ice time, whereas Savard is 10 minutes and 40 seconds, and that's with Savard participating in the PK, and we had to kill 2 penalties, I think it was 2 or 3. So Savard was out there for most of the penalty kill, and Struble wasn't, and even then Struble has almost 6 minutes more than Savard. So all this to mention that Marty is putting the defensive pairings on the blender. We saw some Gooley Carrier. We saw some Hudson Struble. We saw some Hudson Gooley, obviously. We did even see some Hudson Carrier out there. So he's just blending them constantly to give Savard as much rest as he can and use him only when necessary. Every time we had an offensive zone face-off, Savard wouldn't be out there. Savard would only really start 2 situations: defensive zone face-off, and we needed to rest the other pairings. And like the Boston Bruins had not their first 2 lines out there. That's when Savard was. I saw him out there, and at the end of the game, because we were resting Hudson. Actually, before the Bruins scored, and even after they scored, when we calmed the game down a little bit, Hudson didn't see a lot of ice time after we scored 3, because we've been playing Hudson a lot. Hudson has been used so much because he's an offensive superstar, obviously. So he generates a lot, and they've been putting him out there. I think he had 9 minutes during the first period. 9 minutes alone on the first period, and then I'm sure he played a lot in the second as well. And then during the third, he did not play that much. Where's the scroll bar here? Oh, there. Yeah, so in the third period, he didn't have as many shifts as he had in the second, especially after the third goal. So Marty has been doing this thing, which I kind of like, where he's demanding a lot of our offensive talent. Once we have the lead, or 3-goal lead, it's usually the threshold I've been seeing. He starts relying more on his defensive players. He puts the 4th line, the 3rd line out there more than our 2nd and 1st line. Our 1st line is good, defensively responsible, especially with Suzuki out there. If you didn't see it today, Hockey Psychology just released a video that I really liked, where they go in depth on on Hudson, on what he does, like all the little things he does that you may not notice, and also Suzuki, and he goes over the example of the games against the Panthers and how Suzuki outmuscled Barkov a few times, and how he played defensively responsible against one of the better forechecking teams. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. I really recommend it. I enjoyed his analysis. So our first line has some defensive responsibility, not our second line so much, although it's been better with Heinemann out there. And Hudson, I know he's good defensively, but he has been playing so much, you don't want to overdo it. He is a hockey junkie. Shout out to Hockey Junkie, by the way. But Hudson is a hockey junkie, and he just loves hockey. He's all the time playing hockey, thinking hockey out there. He doesn't miss an optional practice. He's out there every time he can. He's out there. So part of me is like, just let him play, because that's just the kind of player he is. Part of me kind of is like, I appreciate that they are giving him a rest in the third. He still went out there. It's not like he got benched or anything. He was still out there, just not every single offensive shift. Every single offensive face-off during the first and the second period, Hudson was out there if he was available. Otherwise, it was Carrier and Matheson. But otherwise, it would be Hudson with either Gooley or Struble. It didn't matter. If it wasn't Matheson or Carrier, it was Hudson with someone else. So we used him a lot, which is understandable. Like, obviously, use your superstar, create. We need every single point. We need these wins. Make us win, right? Hudson makes us win. And even though he didn't contribute in the scoreboard last game, he still generated a lot of offensive chances, a lot of scoring chances, right? So I like that we use him a lot offensively. I like that he's good defensively as well. And I did like that that Marty decided to not use him as much during the third once we had a 3-goal lead. So I did enjoy that. I'm already going long, so I just wanted to mention a couple more points. First off, hats off to Swayman. What a save on Carrier. Did you see that? Dude was just waited him out as he was just laying on the ice. He just waited out Carrier and then like puts the glove up. What a save! I know it's not the best save of the season in the NHL, but it's top 10 for sure. Top 10 at least, maybe top 15. Like, really amazing save. And that game could have been a complete blowout if Swayman hadn't stood on his head. I think he played great for the Bruins, and as Montreal fans, we admire good goalies. So you gotta admit it when you see it, and he played great. He had many great saves. So yeah, just wanted to mention that. The last thing I wanted to mention is I loved Gooley's physical effort. He was out there just throwing the body, hitting hard. I didn't like the fight though. Why? Just because who his fighting partner was. Like, Gooley is one of our most important defensemen. He is a shutdown guy. He plays hard minutes. He plays hard, and it's part of the soul of the team. And he goes out there and potentially could injure himself. Thankfully, he doesn't. Fighting against who? Exactly, right? And even if nothing happens per se, like in the fight per se, then he's out there. I mean, he's out of the game for 5 minutes, 5 or 10, I forget. I think it's 5. He's out of the game for 5 minutes, whereas they have one of their fourth line, maybe. I don't even know. I'm lost on the Bruins names. I don't know who is who anymore. But like, you lose one of your top defensemen for a guy that I can't even remember their name on the Bruins side. So like, I don't like that. We're going for the wins. We're not going for the fights. Otherwise, Jack would have been out there against the Florida game. I didn't like that. I didn't like the decision of the fight or who he was fighting against. If he had fought Zadorov, I would have. Okay, if he had fought Zadorov and none of them would have gotten injured, like if Gully doesn't get injured out of the fight, I wouldn't have minded that, right? Because it's a good defenseman against like one of the more responsible defensemen of the Bruins, so it's like a 1-for-1. But against a fourth line player, maybe third line, like I said, I don't know. For one of our better defensemen, not a good decision in my opinion. Anyways, since I mentioned Zadorov, I really did like the fight of Slafkovsky versus Zadorov. And I actually think Slav got back into his game during the second and third period, like I mentioned, because of the physical stuff. I think getting hit a few times, because he got hit hard once by Zadorov, and then he went and cross-checked him and like, hey, I'm right here. I think he woke up after that. I think he started playing really good after that hit. And he was mean with Zadorov, which you like. He, like Zadorov, went around our net and then tried to do a pass, and the pass just went off, and you could see Slafkovsky point at him, and like he probably said something along the lines of like, "Hey, great pass over there, Damas," something like that, you know. And he was also chirping Swayman. Like, you like to see that from Slafkovsky. It took him a period to get there, but he got it. And like I think he plays well when there's a physical force on the other team. We saw that when we played the Red Wings. We saw that Slafkovsky versus Seider. We saw that against the Lightning with Chernak. So like whenever there's this physical force that just goes and hit him, he gets really mad, and he plays his best when he's mad. So he needs to somehow, I don't know, get Jacky to hit him between periods or something, like before the start of the game, so he starts the game really mad. Obviously I don't want that, but I want him to play like his best, and he has been playing his best when he's mad, and that happens when he gets hit like that, or when he gets physical, you know. So anyways, I'll stop yapping there. I'll leave it there. Great game, great 2 points. We're back on Saturday against the Flyers at Montreal. And then we have a back-to-back. We play on Nashville on Sunday. So a couple really important games. There are teams that are struggling, have not been great during the season. I think Nashville has already been officially eliminated from playoff contention. And the Flyers I think, will also be eliminated if we win against them. So they're right there, right? So two teams that we can get points in, that we should get points against, but it is a back-to-back with travel in between. And the Flyers did score 7 on us not 2 weeks ago. So I hope the Habs, the players, remember that. I hope they do, and I hope they bring it all on Saturday. Because the Bell Center is going to be buzzing like it was yesterday. It was nice hearing the OLS again. Every time it just brings a chill down on my spine. So yeah, I know the Bell Center is not gonna disappoint. I hope the players bring it, because all of these games, all of these points are must win, are must get points. So I'll see you after the Saturday game. Don't forget to leave all your feedback. Oh, and let's mention Fowler, Jacob Fowler, our goalie prospect, just signed with the Habs like a couple hours ago before I started making this video. So he's gonna start practicing with Laval, and he might see a couple of games with Laval this year. Great to see from one of the most touted goalie prospects out there. So yeah, the future is bright. Demidovs has been producing in the playoffs. Just a little sneak peek at what's coming from our prospects. And yeah, I'll leave you there. See you after the Saturday game. Go Habs go!